I'm going to call this meeting of council to order for a special meeting council to order for Monday, June 22nd at 6 o'clock. We have a bare quorum at this moment, so no washroom breaks, please. All right, council, we have an agenda that's been circulated. Any errors or omissions from the agenda is presented. Hearing none, will someone move its adoption, please? Moved by Councillor Back, second by Councillor Murray. Call the question. All in favor? Contrary-minded, motion is carried. We have no meeting minutes that have been circulated as a package. This meeting is called for one particular purpose, for an opportunity for us to hear community feedback about the annual report. And so we're going to start off with a little bit of a presentation. I'm told it's about 15 minutes. And so I'll hand over the floor to Sarah Walker.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council and members of the public joining us tonight. Tonight, I will be introducing the 2025 annual report. Since the annual reporting process only occurs once a year, I'll be making a brief presentation to orient Council and members of the public on the purpose of the meeting and the report. The annual reporting process is a statutory requirement under the Community Charter. I'll be providing a brief overview of the requirements as well as key progress milestones from the report. Joining me this evening is Maria Lazo, our Senior Policy Analyst from Corporate Services. And as the Mayor mentioned, our presentation will be approximately 15 minutes long. The Community Charter under Section 98 requires that each year, prior to June 30th, Council prepare an annual report and make the report available for public inspection. This includes the municipality's audited annual financial statements for 2025, a list of the permissive tax exemptions provided by the Municipal Council, and for each exemption, the amount of property tax that would have been imposed during the previous year if the exemption had not been granted. A report on the municipality's services and operations in 2025, a progress report on the performance of the municipality with respect to established objectives and measures, a statement of objectives and measures that will be used as the basis for determining the municipality's performance during the current year and following year, and any details of declarations of disqualifications made against individual council members during the previous year. In accordance with our statutory notice requirements, the annual report was advertised on June 10th and 17th in the North Shore News. The report is available online in a printable PDF format, and hard copies are also available for pickup at Municipal Hall and at district libraries. Since this is typically of interest, as of 3 p.m. today, we've received 231 total views to the webpage, 146 unique visits to the webpage, and what that represents is the number of external visits to the site by not the same person, so different people. We received 2 comments via the web form and 1 email. Public submissions were encouraged in several formats, including the ability to engage with us directly on the annual report webpage, via email, and through social media. It should be noted that all submissions received, we will be responding to those in a summary report that will be published on our website in July. The report also includes financial information, which includes audited consolidated financial statements, permissive tax exemptions, and supplemental financial information. I won't speak further to that as Mr. Daniluk is here and he can answer any questions or make any comments. The 2025 annual report provides a summary of progress achieved from January 1st to December 31st, 2025, measured against the goals and priorities of the corporate plan. The corporate plan informs departmental and divisional work plans, which enable us to deliver day-to-day operations, programs, and services that residents rely on. Key performance indicators were identified in the 2023 report, and my colleague here will be speaking to those, to ensure both alignment and progress reporting on council priorities. The report includes 3-year historical data, which allows us to identify trends and report out on relevant data collected in the post-pandemic environment while capturing the realities and challenges facing our municipality today. The district's community profile is based on the 2021 census and has been added to provide local and regional context when reviewing the report. The special impact section includes any external factors that may have affected resource allocation and created capacity challenges. For this year, such impacts include the provincial housing legislation and rising utility costs for Metro Vancouver. Finally, each year we prepare a high-level executive summary of the annual report for a quick glance at the highlights. For over a decade, we have taken an approach that is consistent by using the corporate plan as a reference to monitor how we've done on set objectives and to look forward. In 2023, Council identified strategic priorities for the 2023 to 2026 corporate plan and established the following 6 corporate goals. We've taken a flexible approach to advancing actions so that we address, as an organization, strategic priorities while responding to emerging community needs, initiatives led by senior levels of government, and new priorities identified by Council. I will now pass it on to Maria to review some of the performance highlights for each of the goals.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The first goal of the corporate plan is goal number 1, enhance transportation and mobility, which is to develop integrated networks of sustainable travel modes by maintaining and upgrading transportation infrastructure. Shown are 2 featured performance measures for 2025. The length of pedestrian and cycling network within the urban boundary has increased by 17.6 kilometers since 2021, as well as the peak usage of the Lynn Creek crossing by several hundred users compared to 2023 and 2024. A few of the progress highlights for this goal are the completion of the multi-use path on Marine Drive between Lionsgate Bridge and Maguire Avenue. In addition to this path, a new section of the Spirit Trail from Seymour River to Windridge Park and a new bike route from Lynn Valley to the Lynn Creek Town Center were completed. We also expanded shared mobility options through signing a tri-municipal agreement with Evolve e-Bike and the Tsleil-Waututh Nation, providing shared electric bike services across the North Shore, which now also services the Tsleil-Waututh Nation reserve lands for the first time. We also procured and deployed a mini sweeper to improve the maintenance of multi-use pathways and bike lanes. And lastly, on this goal, we completed the asphalt reconstruction of Mountain Highway between Lynn Valley Road and East 27th Street as part of the multi-year asphalt road renewal program. Goal number 2, address the housing crisis and the community's housing needs, is to provide access to a range of affordable and diverse housing options for residents, supporting community well-being, accessibility, and livability. Featured performance measures include the number of building permits issued and the number of occupancies for market ownership and rental supportive and care units. Under this goal, we completed 832 net new housing units from October 1st, 2024 to September 30th, 2025. This number amounts for 81% of the annual cumulative provincial target of 1,021 net new housing units for the district. Council also adopted the 2025 official community plan update, which will address the district's housing needs in the coming 20 years while implementing the new housing legislation with effective growth management. Council also approved a regulatory and business licensing framework for short-term rental accommodations, enabling nearly 450 residents to supplement their income, support local tourism, and direct hotel tax revenue toward affordable housing. Lastly, staff introduced development applications to Council, which would deliver approximately 48,000 square feet of commercial and employment spaces, 2 childcare facilities, a 169-bed hotel, a community plaza, and green linkages. Goal number 3, achieve a balanced and fair economy, is to demonstrate fiscal responsibility by balancing revenues with financial policies and strategies to support economic growth and prosperity. Featuring this goal is a regional comparison on the municipal residential taxes per capita and an increase in the number of business licenses issued in the district. Under this goal, we launched a 5-year investment program into public realm improvement and events, allowing the district to create more inviting places for the community to gather, connect, and enjoy. Initiatives include adding new banners and festive lighting and enhancing the summer concerts program in the town and village centers. We also launched the dnb.org economic development webpage and introduced a monthly business newsletter, helping businesses stay connected to information, resources, economic data, and opportunities, among other items of interest. Staff also facilitated approval of major business projects, including zoning for 472 million hydrogen facility and permitting for commercial and industrial construction, valued at a total of $76.5 million. Lastly, we completed phase 1 of the new financial planning and budgeting system, which will enable multi-year budgeting, enhance collaboration among departmental teams, and increase transparency. Goal number 4, leading climate emergency action and environmental management. This goal is to allow the district to establish environmental stewardship through policies and programs to mitigate climate change impacts and promote sustainable management practices. This goal features the annual greenhouse gas emissions from the district operations, the number of permits issued for electric heat pumps, and an increase in the number of trees and shrubs distributed to residents. As part of ecological restoration and habitat enhancement projects to increase biodiversity, we planted just over 2,500 shrubs and 800 trees in 7 parks, restoring more than 11,000 square meters of natural areas. We also created and implemented a rainfall and response risk assessment process to guide operational decision-making during storm events. Staff also removed approximately 300 hazard trees in Kirkstone, Windridge, and William Griffin parks as part of the Forest Resilience Program, reducing forest fuel, restoring native vegetation, and removing invasive species. Lastly, staff renewed 5.8 kilometers of sanitary sewer mains, repaired or replaced 45 maintenance holes, and installed 43 sewer connection chambers in the Lean Valley sewer catchment. Goal number 5, foster community well-being, culture, and safety. This goal is to create a community where everyone has safe and equitable access to amenities, services, and resources to enhance their quality of life. Featuring an increase in the group childcare capacity for all age groups, as well as several additional statistics from the North Vancouver Recreation and Culture Commission, the number of visits to the North Vancouver Public District Library, visits, the fire hall response times, the number of alertable subscribers, and the number of attendees at the Museum of Archives of North Vancouver, exhibits and programs. As part of the progress highlights for this goal, the district opened Belle Isle Park. It also implemented accessibility upgrades to the Lean Creek Community Recreation Center, the Maplewood Fire and Rescue Center, and Parkgate Library. Such features include step-free entrances, accessible washrooms, automatic doors, and universal design features. The district also renewed the service agreement with Tsleil-Waututh Nation and updated the district's naming policy to enable and recognize Indigenous place names. The District Fire and Rescue Services responded to the Silver Lynn Apartments fire in Lynn Valley, rescuing 10 residents with the support of available apparatus from all 3 North Shore fire departments. We also launched a partnership with Capilano University to provide practicum opportunities for students with visible and invisible disabilities in support of a more inclusive workplace development. In partnership with the North Vancouver Recreation and Culture, we opened the new Lynn Creek Community Recreation Center, featuring a full-size gymnasium, multipurpose rooms, and a childcare facility. The Museum and Archives of North Vancouver, MONOVA, welcomed more than 1,800 visitors at their Truth and Reconciliation Day, the highest single attendance day in the museum's history. The district's library launched their first automated kiosk at the Lynn Creek Community Center, the first of its kind in Canada, with residents borrowing under 5,000 items in the first 8 months. The North Vancouver RCMP detachment launched an education campaign about unsafe e-scooter use among youth, coordinating community outreach to support safer riding habits. Lastly, under this goal, the North Shore Emergency Management Office completed the operational North Shore Disaster and Climate Risk and Resilience Assessment to help residents identify the top hazards in the region and to better prepare for and recover from emergencies. Our last goal, goal number 6, foster a resilient organization to enhance our organizational capacity to prepare and adapt to change and ensure that our workforce can effectively serve our community now and into the future. Under this goal, future performance indicators include decreased employee turnover, increased number of reports through the report a problem system, an increased number of privacy impact assessments, and the number of permit applications received online. In 2025, under this goal, we'll launch My DMB on dmb.org, a personalized service platform for residents to conduct business with the district, such as pay and select bills. We also achieved the WorkSafe BC Certificate of Recognition, which recognizes the implementation of an effective occupational health and safety management system in the workplace. We also started the implementation of the Development Approvals Process Review Program to support applicants and the building permit review process. We also developed the Corporate Planning and Reporting Framework to align service delivery and operations with organizational priorities, with the goal to strengthen decision-making and resource allocation internally. Lastly, we modernized the asset management framework and conducted a district-wide State of the Assets report to evaluate inventory and conditions of district infrastructure and to identify any long-range funding gaps. This concludes my portion of the presentation. I will now pass it back to Ms. Walker for any concluding comments.
Thank you. Looking ahead, Council, this year marks a significant milestone in your term and demonstrates important progress on each of the 6 corporate goals under Council's direction. Many of the priorities in the 2023 to 2026 corporate plan are evergreen and will go beyond this Council's term. Staff look forward to continuing advancing the projects, plans, and strategies through the remainder of the corporate plan. Staff are also working on releasing a public dashboard, which I know Council has been waiting to see, which demonstrates progress to date in this Council's term. Future direction beyond this Council's term will be shaped by balancing emergent community issues, initiatives led by senior levels of government, and new priorities identified by the incoming Council. This concludes our presentation this evening. I would like to acknowledge staff from across the district who collaborated and contributed to this year's annual report. Thank you for the opportunity to address Council this evening. What remains now is an opportunity for Council to consider the annual report and any public input. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation this evening. The public input portion for the annual report consideration is directly handed down to us from provincial legislation. So I have a little bit of a script I need to read before we get into the matter. This special council meeting is being held to receive public submissions and questions on the 2025 annual report. It's being held in a hybrid meeting format, meaning there's a combination of in-person and electronic participation by some or all members of council or by staff and the public. Section 99 of the Community Charter requires Council to consider the annual report prepared under Section 98 of the Community Charter and receive submissions and questions from the public. The annual report must be considered at a council meeting or other public meeting, which brings us to this evening. There is no statutorily prescribed process, as with other consultations such as public hearings, so the nature and extent of the public input opportunity is up to Council. Accordingly, the Chair has established the following rules for this public input opportunity. 1, we'll go through the established speakers list. At the end of the speakers list, the chair may call for any other speakers not on the speakers list. 2, you'll have 5 minutes to address council. Begin your remarks to council by stating your name. 3, after everyone who wishes to speak has spoken, there will be an opportunity for speakers to have an additional 5-minute opportunity. 4, any additional speaking opportunities will only be allowed at the discretion of the chair and if time permits. If permitted, do not repeat your information from your previous presentations and ensure your comments remain focused on the 2025 annual report. 5, if you have provided a submission earlier in the process, there's no need to read it as it will have already been seen by staff and summarized for council. 6, all members of the audience are asked to be respectful of one another as diverse opinions are expressed. Council wishes to hear everyone's views in an open and impartial forum. Some important notes about this evening's meeting. 1, Council is here to listen to the public, not to debate the content of the annual report. Council may ask clarifying questions of speakers. Everyone wishing to speak will be provided an opportunity. If necessary, we will convene after the regular council meeting tonight. Finally, please note that the meeting is being held via Zoom and is being recorded in accordance with the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. At this point, I'm going to go to the speakers list. We only had one person who signed up ahead of time, their virtual participant, Corey Cost. So we're going to make sure that Corey is moved over as a panelist. There we go. Corey Cost, can you hear me?
I can hear you, and you should be able to see me as well, I hope.
I can hear and see you, Corey, but I'm going to ask you again, just for you speak directly into your microphone. It's coming in a little bit soft.
Yes,
Please.
my voice has been that way, sorry. And I don't mind if you repeat that request. So,
You have 5 minutes to address the meeting.
well, I certainly won't take anywhere near that. I've already sent my summary, which with ChatGPT and myself worked on to give you a summary oversight of what it feels are important issues. So I won't bore the public on the contents of that summary. But I hope that council will take note of some of what we together, ChatGPT and myself, felt were important issues. This makes it look like the report that was being presented by staff is completely different than the report by ChatGPT and myself. My focus is more on money and advances in large areas like the wastewater costs, which are very much in the news nowadays. So that's basically all I have to say. This will, I hope, be read by members of council and maybe have some influence. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Cost. Yes, I had a good look at it and read a bit earlier today, and it was interesting what ChatGPT pointed out as the differences between the 24 and 25 annual report. And some of it was very helpful at seeing how we may have prioritized things differently. I thought it was interesting that it did recognize that the reserves have dipped by 20 million, but sometimes you collect a reserve to spend it for a particular purpose. And so just because you've collected it for a reserve and used it for that purpose, it doesn't mean that the health of your reserves is impacted. But I thought it was an interesting observation from your analysis and ChatGPT's analysis. So there's still time remaining if you have any additional comments, but okay. All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Cost, for your comments. Okay. Would anybody else like to provide their comments on the annual report today? Virtual participants, you can raise your virtual hand and we'll move you over as panelists if you'd like to. Okay, check in with the clerk now. I don't see anyone else wishing to add their comments to this portion of the meeting. Okay, well, we have concluded the public input portion of this year's annual report process. And so council, I'm looking to you for a recommendation that council receive the District of North Vancouver 2025 annual report. So moved by Councillor Murray, second by Councillor Back. Prepare to call the question. All in favor? Contrary minded? Motion is carried. Okay, we've now completed all of the business of this evening's special meeting. Our regular meeting of council starts at 7 o'clock. And so at this point, I will accept adjournment from Councillor Ma. Accepted. Thank you very much. Thank you to staff for their preparation for the report for our consideration. And thank you, members of the public, for having a look at it. But everybody, have a good evening. We'll be back at 7 o'clock.